Hello, it's Thursday, the 6th of October. In previous reflections, I've commented that I disagree with the sentiment that religion and politics do not mix. However, in the past, I've tried to be fairly circumspect when expressing my thoughts and opinions. Over the last few days, I've fought with myself to rein in my thoughts, but it was not to be. And I realise that some people may not like what I have to say. It may even get me taken off the rota for recording these reflections. Except that we may not be able, or indeed willing, to call ourselves a Christian country anymore. But I wonder what you call a country that removes the cap on what bankers can be paid as bonuses, enabling them to be paid more in bonuses than the ordinary worker might see in a year. What do you call a country that gives some people a tax saving of over £4,000, whilst others, on far smaller incomes, get a tax saving of only about £200? What do you call a country that claims a success when they cap the unit costs of energy so that the average bill will not be more than about £2,500, when previously it was only about £1,200? And what do you call a country that can describe the enormous growth in the number of food banks as uplifting? What do you call a country that takes action that sees its own currency plummet in value to a record low that obviously increases the cost of living for everyone? And what about a country that seems happy to have inflation rise above 10% with the resulting high-costing mortgages for young families? And what about another country that demands further cuts be made by all government departments that will surely impact badly on services that the public seem to want, such as hospitals and ambulances, or schools and roads and public transport? As Christians, I thought that we were happy to pay taxes in order to help everyone in society. In fact, one of our previous ministers at St Andrews commented once that he thought it was an honour to pay taxes. Today, sadly, it seems that it's more of an honour to pay as little as possible and hang the consequences, or even go further and denigrate those in need of help as scroungers. It's true that in biblical times there was probably little state welfare and care for people, and this was often in the hands of the synagogues. Even in the Middle Ages, the monasteries often provided care and hospitality. And even today at St Cross in Winchester, they still offer you the wayfarer's dole, a drink of weak beer and bread if you ask. Incidentally, St Cross are still advertising vacancies for brothers in their community. In the meantime, the state gradually took on the task of caring for members of society and ensuring a fairer society for all. But today I wonder, are we going backwards? Are we seeing churches and other places of worship returning to a previous role as the state is rolled back? We hear cries of, "We want a small state," and "put the money back in the pockets of the people." Well, we can then all pay for the services we need. So back to paying for your doctor and for your care and all the other things that you need. And it doesn't take much intelligence to see that if you're not paid very much, paying for these services could become impossible. I know I'm one of the fortunate ones, well into retirement, but I am concerned for our grandchildren. I want them to know a compassionate society where people are happy to contribute to helping everyone and not just helping some to line their own pockets. I want them to know the Mother Teresas and the Desmond Tutus and the Nelson Mandelas and the Martin Luther Kings, rather than the short-sighted, greedy politicians that we seem to elect to govern us. Yes, keep politics out of religion, but only when politics shows a greater concern for justice and fairness, for trust and peace, rather than sowing division and creating unrest and thriving on inequality. And let us remember what Jesus taught us about service and breaking down barriers and loving others. I'm not going to end with a prayer today. I'm going to end with some questions asked by the United Reformed Church as part of their Jubilee celebrations. And they ask, how have I lived my faith today? How have I walked in hope today? How have I acted in love today? And how have I lived the life of Jesus today? I hope that you've not been too depressed today, but I also hope that I've inspired you to challenge injustice wherever it arises. Have a good day, and thank you for listening.